Hello, this is Pastor Dan of Jesus Alive Ministries. I'm coming to you today to share with you a visitation I had about 2 years ago. The Lord has not released me to share it before. I've shared it with friends and close people within the church when it actually happened. And now the Lord has released me. I feel it's time now to be able to bring this forth. What you're going to hear is something very hard to believe. But from my heart, I know it's the truth, and I know what it was that happened that very night. First of all, I want to bring, as I enter into this, there's a number involved that was very close to me, and it was my football number, number 27. About 10 or 12 years ago, I started seeing this number all the time, 27, 27. And I told Jacqueline, I said, I'm starting to see my old football number 27. Then I said, and it's also 127. She said, why 127? I said, because I was born in January, 127. I'm going to just recap this try to do it in a short manner instead of going through all the details. But you need to know that because it's very important to what I'm going to say. So as I began to see that number, we began to investigate and see what it really means biblically. And biblically, the number 27 means preach the gospel. 2 is the number for witness. Jesus sent everybody out by twos. And 7, we know, is perfect. And we know that Jesus was perfect. And so that number means, in a biblical respect, preach the gospel. And every time I saw it, I knew that's what the Lord was reminding me to do, and that's what I've been doing these last 27, 28, 29 years. So as I began to do that, right after the year I ended my chemo treatment, all 2009 I was taking chemo, and then when I got off the chemo in January of 2010, I told my wife, I said, you know, we need to go out and we just need to go to the movies. I said, but I want to be back because President Obama is going to be speaking on TV after give his first inaugural address, and I said I wanted to see that. So we went to the movies early, we came home, and we were able to catch, right at the beginning, President Obama coming on TV. Now what's interesting about that is, my wife had a dream about 2 or 3 months before that, and she called her friend Lynn and said that she had a dream that President Obama was going to call me. And so they joked back and forth on the email, and Lynn would email her and say, this is from the desk of the president, and they all had a good fun time with it. So when I come home that night on a Wednesday, right after going to the movies, I sat down, began to listen to President Obama speak. Right out of the corner of my eye, my peripheral vision, I saw a round circle flashing behind a fan. Now this was January, so the fan in the kitchen was not on. And I saw it was about that big of a sphere, a round circle, and began sparkling. And I looked up real fast, and it went away. Well, Jacqueline, her back was to the kitchen. And she said to me, she said, what is it? And I said, it's nothing. It wasn't anything. Then all of a sudden, it came back again. And as that began to happen, I saw it again. It came back, and it started moving off to my right. And it's going off to my right like this. And I jerked up real fast to see it because I knew it was going out of my peripheral vision, and it went down into a sphere. I want to show you what it looked like. And later, as I read in Ezekiel, it reminded me of Ezekiel's wheel inside the wheel. First, I saw this form, and these right here, if you can see these were moving up and down real fast, about 1,000,000 miles an hour, and there were sparks flying from it. When I looked up the second time to catch a good glimpse of it, it went to this shape, and it just rocketed down through my hallway of my house. Jacqueline asked me the second time, what is it? What is it? And I said, it's nothing. I said, I'm just tired and I'm ready to go to bed. So I went to bed. As I got in bed, I sleep on the right side of the bed so that the edge of the bed is this close to me. And I sleep on my right side, and every night I begin to pray. And I begin to pray for all my friends, family, church members, people that we know, and I begin to pray. So I began to pray, and all of a sudden my bed started to shake. I mean, shake in a kind of violent way, not too violent, but enough to move me back and forth like this in the bed, enough that I thought my wife had snuck into the room and I started to shake my bed. But when I looked over, I said, Jacqueline, are you in here messing with me? And I looked over and she wasn't in there. And I started within my spirit to know that whatever angel it was, I believe it was a cherubim, whatever angel it was really moving within my life. I saw it out in the kitchen. Now I felt my bed shake, and I began to look around to see where he was, but I couldn't see him. So I laid back down on my right side. I began to pray again, and I'm now beginning to thank the Lord for allowing me to see what I saw, and then also to feel what I had felt. As I'm praying, now I hear a voice. I know many are going to say, well, you hear an audible voice. Yeah, well, many people have said that. Believe me, the people that know me know. I would not ever say that if it wasn't true. And I heard right through my pillow a very loud voice, not a screaming voice, but not a whisper, but a loud voice, a man's voice, say, now Dan. And I shot right up out of that bed. Now I know it's an angel in the room, and I'm looking around, and I'm saying out loud, not real loud, I didn't want my wife to hear. I said, where are you? Where are you? Manifest yourself. I'll talk to you. But he wouldn't manifest himself, so I laid back down. Now I'm really smiling because I know I'm getting a visitation of the Lord, but I don't know still what it's for. As I laid back down and began to pray and thank the Lord again for allowing me to hear an audible voice like that, all of a sudden in my right eye that was in the pillow, my right eye in the pillow like this, it began to mushroom open like a big cloud opening up like that. And it opened up, and that's when I saw the vision. And I was standing in front of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., a good distance from it. Not a long distance from it, but a good distance from the Capitol. And it was darkness. And all of a sudden, as you're in darkness and then you begin to see more and more as your eye adapts, well, that's what happened. And I began to see more and more. And I saw 2 tree lines, both on each side of the road where I was standing. And none of the trees had any leaves on them. There wasn't any sun. There wasn't any stars. There wasn't any moon. There wasn't any lights on in any of the buildings around me. But all of a sudden, right in front of me, come these waves of people in about groups of maybe 30 or 40 people. And they came out of the darkness, coming closer and closer to me. And they were walking real close together. So close you couldn't put a piece of paper between them.